There is a very specific kind of danger that begins with somebody knocking on the door at the wrong time. Not villain danger, not dragon danger. It's worse. Unexpected guests. Because one moment you are peacefully sitting at a home thinking about snacks, and the next moment 13 dwarfs have occupied your living room, a wizard is judging you personally, somebody is singing ominously about gold and mountains, and somehow you have been selected for a life threatening expedition despite having the survival instinct of decorative furniture. And I hope it's not too dramatic for you, because that is actually the opening energy of Hobbit. And honestly, what makes this story timeless is not just dragons or magic or battles. It's the fact that at the center of all this chaos stands one deeply confused little hobbit wondering how his life collapsed so quickly. Today, let's talk about the book that opened the gates of modern fantasy itself. A story filled with riddles, treasure, ancient grudges, suspicious forest, singing doves, terrible travel planning, and one accidental hero who slowly discovers that courage does not always arrive looking heroic. Sometimes it arrives hungry, anxious, and completely underprepared. Long before the fantasy became packed with giant cinematic universes, morally grey anti-heroes, and a map that looked like tax documents, there was the Hobbit. And the most beautiful thing about this book is that it still feels wonderfully human beneath all its mythology. Mr. J.R.R. Tolkien was not writing fantasy like someone designing a product. He wrote it like a storyteller sitting beside a fire with a twinkle in his eyes and thinking, wait till you hear what happens next. You can actually feel that warmth everywhere. The songs, the little jokes, the sudden shifts from the cozy comfort to a genuine fatal danger. The sense that the world existed long before the story began and it will continue long after it ends. Middle Earth feels ancient in the best possible way. Not polished, not artificial. It feels lived in. Like every mountain has seen wars. Every forest remember its secrets. Every tavern probably had somebody who owed somebody money. And what's fascinating is that The Hobbit began as a much simpler tale before eventually becoming connected to the larger mythology of Lord of the Rings. So, while this book absolutely works as a standalone adventure, you can also feel a massive shadow moving quietly in the background. Tiny hints that this world is older, stranger, and far more dangerous than it first appears. Also, Mr. Tolkien somehow achieved the impossible. He made walking look epic. Entire chapters are basically people traveling from one dangerous place to another dangerous place, and yet it never feels boring because the atmosphere is so rich you can practically smell rain on stone. At the center of the story is Bilbo Baggins. Bilbo is not a warrior. He is not ambitious. He is not dreaming of glory. This man's greatest passion in life is uninterrupted comfort. And honestly, respect. Bilbo enjoys food, peace, routines, minding his own business. He has perfected the art of avoiding unnecessary excitement, which is exactly why the Gandalf decided to absolutely destroy his face. Soon, Bilbo finds himself dragged into a quest alongside 13 dwarves led by Thorin Oakenshield, the one who seeks to reclaim the lost homeland and stolen treasure from the dragon Smaug. Now already this sounds dangerous enough, but the real fun of the book is the journey itself, because this is not one clean heroic march towards victory. This trip is a traveling disaster. Every few chapters the group stumbles into a new problem, like fate itself is running a prank channel. Trolls, goblin tunnels, strange forests, riddles, mysterious creatures, near escapes, questionable decision making, and whatnot. At one point, the entire adventure genuinely feels held together by sheer luck, panic, and Gandalf disappearing at the worst possible moments. And yet, that unpredictability is what makes the story so alive. The world feels untamed, like danger could emerge from literally any hill, any cave, tree, or conversation. What I love most is how cleverly Mr. Tolkien balances the wonder and tension. One chapter feels playful and funny, the next suddenly becomes eerie enough to make you sit up straight while reading. And somehow, in the middle of all this chaos, Bilbo slowly changes. Not dramatically, not with loud speeches, but quietly. You begin noticing moments where he starts thinking faster, acting braver, taking responsibility, trusting himself. It's gradual enough to feel real. And then, of course, there is a certain encounter deep underground that became one of the most iconic moments in the fantasy literature itself. If you know, you know. If you don't, I envy you slightly because experiencing it for the first time is magical. Also, I have to say this: Smaug might genuinely be one of the most charismatic dragons ever written. Not because he is destructive, but because he talks like somebody who knows he is the smartest creature in the room. Every conversation involving him feels dangerous long before any fire appears. What surprised me most about The Hobbit is how comforting it feels despite all the danger. And I think that comes from Bilbo himself, because Bilbo reacts to adventure the way most normal people would, not with heroic confidence, with stress, confusion, mild outrage, and occasional survival panic, which makes him incredibly relatable. Fantasy heroes are often larger than life figures destined for greatness. Bilbo feels like someone who accidentally clicked accept quest without reading the terms and conditions. But that's exactly why his journey works. The story understands something very humane. Courage is rarely the absence of fear. Usually, it is just fear continuing to walk anyway. And beneath all the fantasy elements, the book quietly asks a question many of us deal with in real life. How much of ourselves remain undiscovered simply because we never leave what's familiar? That idea stayed with me long after the book ended. Also, I genuinely admire how much personality Tolkien gives to the world. Even the meals feel memorable. Even the songs feel important. Even the side characters feel like they existed before the page introduced them. Middle Earth does not feel like a backdrop. It feels alive, like somewhere beyond the edge of the map, another story is already happening. And maybe that's why the generation of the readers keep returning to this book, not just for adventure, but for the feeling of stepping into the world bigger than yourself. A world filled with danger, beauty, humor, mystery, and the roads that disappear into distant mountains. If you have never read The Hobbit before, this is one of the easiest recommendations I can make. It's adventurous without losing heart. It's funny without becoming silly, magical without losing humanity, and somehow, despite being nearly a century old, it still feels fresh every time you open it. So maybe, one evening, make yourself a cup of coffee, find a quiet corner, and let the Middle Earth pull you in. Just be careful if somebody knocks on your door unexpectedly. History suggests your life may never become peaceful again. And with that, me Nikhil, signing off. I will meet you again soon with another book, another quiet conversation, and another cup of coffee. Until then, take care of yourself. If you get some value from this video, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Share this video with a fellow reader and keep turning the page. I thank you very much.